be smart when it's important, but most men don't like it.
Yeah. Every single June I imagine I'm an engineer, a best-selling author, a Wall Street investor, an NBA player, a rapper with a hit, a lottery winner or early crypto collector. Cause I would cop $1 million shoreside crib out where the sunset bleeds through the swaying cattails. I need the fam and friends aboard my ship, and we'd hit the calm waters like we're raising black sails. We'd boil up a corn and crawdad lunch, a mixture of what we've grown and what we've caught. Canoes, intertubes, and swimming suits, yeah, all that stuff. A lot of happy that this make-believe money bought.
Why is it wrong for me to want those things?
New year, new me, ooh-wee, let's get it. We packed up and ready to roll like end credits. Said it's been a rough rut and I'm dying to live, so we set a quest for the other side of the bridge off the WA. On a wubulous day, hiking up in the gray to get the muscles to ache. Let the dog off the leash so we can run wild, get lost in the trees and use them as sundials. Deep on the trail we meet some glimmering aqua with the hue to the blue like the Swinton Sinatra in my winter fish shit. Layers hug my skin, thinking I'ma strip down and go jump right in. It's a tad bit nippy, but I'm shouting like a hippie. January 17th and I'm out here in my skivvies, way to my chest and it robs my breath. Guess I'm pretty damn lucky that I got some left. Guess I'm pretty damn lucky that I got some left. Guess I'm pretty damn lucky that I got some left. Play the beat, G, throw that shit on repeat. Nothing's coming easy and my thoughts are filled with seaweed. Take my smokes and tools, take my burgers extra greasy. Take my calls tomorrow, send a sparrow if you need me. Police on patrol been giving me heebie-jeebies while I write the treaties and attempt to read the tea leaves. We were so alive when that summer wind was breezy. Now I can only visit via Ouija or while dreaming. Been leaving it behind along with clues on how to get back. Sometimes I feel guilty I made it out okay and intact, or maybe you're the one who made it out and I'm imprisoned by this bag of skin and bones and condition called existence. Drifting, spitting what I've written and laughing cause it feels like I can almost hear you dissing in the distance. I've been getting sappy, you've been supernatural. How apropos, I holler at you on the other side of the afterglow. Ring, ring, pick up, get your jacket zipped up. It's a pretty nasty winter, but make sure you grab your tip up. You got an invitation to commit the shandy with us. A 30 rack and natty lights until we have to hook up. The cold is like a cobra and it's holding me tight. It's like I'm throwing snake eyes when I'm rolling the dice. Because we ain't had nary a nibble. Jiggle the jig, get lit while we sitting by a hole in the ice. I'm like Christy Yamaguchi with an inner ear infection. No king of the snow hill, more like middle tier ascension. Skating sloppy eights into the makeshift rink. It's a levity to counteract the days we sink. The flakes falling from the gray blanket make me blink. And when I lay down in them, I get angel wings. Come on and bring me another. I need to keep the tummy warm until they got us feeling like we opened up the oven door. Every episode we gotta save the Wonder Wharf, cause the richest of us are addicted to the something more. But all I need now is hanging from a bungee cord. I'm bleeding green and gold and covered in my hunter orange storms in the forecast. Read it like a Rorschach. It's a warning or a reason. Let us step into the season, freezing but fulfilled in the snow globe wonder. I know you hold me down so I don't go under. I'm like, I don't wanna fall through the cracks. So please, please don't let me fall through the cracks. I said I don't wanna fall through the cracks. So please, please don't let me fall through the cracks. I said I don't wanna fall through the cracks. So please, please don't let me fall through the cracks. I said I don't wanna fall through the cracks. So please, please don't let me fall through the cracks. This place is a hell of a lot different than how the Wu described it. I've made that joke so much you're no longer amused by it. You state the state is infinitely more than a single city's lore. Got me wondering if it's a spot where you could need me when I'm 64. But before there wasn't us, there was a you and yours. In a cabin built by pops, from the piping to the doors, from the roof into the floors. It's a masterclass in assembling, but the fam is tiny. So when I visit, I hit my head on everything. I'm slower out here. It's about a half a mile to get the mail, which is just enough time for you to tell me a litany of different tales. Fish swimming in the pond, sleeping bags in the forest, a milking cow in the barn, and a grassy pasture for the horses. It's still gorgeous, and it makes me wanna be an author and a fix-it handyman with a chainsaw and an auger, drinking my morning chamomile down in garden fruit from a saucer, sitting in my stillness till you lead me to the water like. Sometimes I'm too much of a thinker, but this feeling got me falling, hook, line, sinker. It's a real humdinger. Let's linger by the lakes that are shaped like our fingers. Sometimes I'm too much a go-getter, but this feeling got me pausing, hook, line, spinner. Yes, I'm with it, let's kick it by the lakes that are shaped like our digits. If I had a time machine, I probably couldn't change anything. If I had a time machine, I probably couldn't change anything. Before there was an us, a great spirit graced the earth with their presence. Dug their hands into the land for a fingerprint's impression. The blessing that remained filled with rain in the making of a legend. It's always tough to narrow down to 10, so the spirit left 11. But let the earth spin the yarn and the clues all point to glaciers, which drag the bellies across the earth and carve the gaping craters. It's science versus saviors, causes or creators. But while debaters argue, here we stand thousands of years later. Yeah, I'm slower out here, either breaking or I'm breaking, either resting or disintegrating due to the way that I've been racing, anticipating what's to come and skipping all that's current. This wishing for the next thing got me missing all this perfect. I heard it loud and clear, absorbed the messaging from Seneca, play it back like soundtracks for when I step into the nebula. The best of us is yet to come, but I ain't in a rush to leave the banks, so thanks. Sometimes I'm too much of a thinker, but this feeling got me falling, hook, line, sinker. It's a real humdinger. Let's linger by the lakes that are shaped like our fingers. Sometimes I'm too much a go-getter, but this feeling got me pausing, hook, line, spinner. Yes, I'm with it, let's kick it by the lakes that are shaped like our digits. If I had a time machine, I probably couldn't change anything. If I had a time machine, I probably couldn't change anything. Yeah, the news. The ditches move the Bohner Lake. No, it's not a joke. The ditches. Pops was sipping 40s. Yeah. Pops was sipping 40s, coming home from the mill like there was a magic fix in the opening swill. That's when being a dad called for being away, and he did what it took to ensure his people were straight. Mom's packed the finest shears and grabbed the best clippers, but none of her clientele made the trek with her. We got us a fresh start, sing it 3 cheers loud, but if we'd have stayed there, we wouldn't be here now. I was in the basement, ignorantly stirring, hugging our kitten while I listened to his purring, saying my goodbyes cause our sitter was allergic, thinking why can't we get rid of that miserable person? Brushed it off quickly, put a bandage on the hurt, and bounced out to catch salamanders in the dirt. I was staking my claim in this neck of the woods, had a field to run free, believing everything's good. Meanwhile, the new crib was shrouded in rain clouds, invisible to me from the country playground. 2 kids, little loot and no support system, with the third on the way. They chose to abort mission, pounded a for sale sign into the grass, made that Burlington abode a blurry thing of the past. The burden in the rear as we headed down the road. If they never would've told me, I never would've known.
The only time a sunburn in my mind is serious enough to go to the doctor is if
The man with the student debt and diploma receipt said it might have been just one sunburn that did it. So I would like to know which careless summer day Tahoe responsible for pushing my body past its limits. Could it have been at Simtustus when we paddled on the reservoir to pay the diving rock cliffs a visit? Got stranded downstream without an SPF cream to protect me from the ultraviolet kisses. Which skin cell couldn't get well and infiltrated rank as a fully formed mutant? Made its way from the hypodermis up to the surface and reproduce the cancer in its nuisance. Got a whole group together like birds of a feather in a tumor to complete their evolution. And was it catalyzed all the while your boy was half naked on a raft like a sea lion snoozing? Today could be the day that starts the last of all my days, and I'd be none the wiser, so I'm like it's all the same. Let me dip my toes, let me get my goal before I'm gone away. Cause today could be the day that starts the last of all my days. Today could be the day that starts the last of all my days. Cause today could be the day that starts the last of all my days. Like the backs of postcards. I either ain't got the eye or the technological knowledge. I never promised anyone a rose garden, but I've helped cultivate entire columns of flowers. You saw this and you thought of me, and I didn't know we were doing that. A paragraph with a view attached. I'm about to go send you one back. The computers have corrupted us, cause I know everything that's up with ya. Anytime I wonder what, I can double tap and then thumb it up, but then there you were, far away, somewhere I have never been. And something about this picture spoke to a setting when we were better friends. It's like a key to a coded map, hinting where we can meet again. And even though I can read the end, we pretend that I'll see you then. My photos don't look like the backs of postcards. I either ain't got the eye or the technological knowledge. I never promised anyone a rose garden, but I've helped cultivate entire columns of flowers. Nothing is forever except the stamps, we stick to letters. Nothing is forever except the stamps, we stick to letters. Sand passes through the funnel and connections become severed. So nothing is forever except the stamps, we stick to letters. What was that? Did you hear it? Sounded like an apparition making an appearance. Bleary periscopes peeking out the pyramid spirits, enveloped by the darkness and fear and eerie weird shit. Alarms ringing in the inner echo chamber. Exterior is cool as several glaciers. I simply show a fraction of the held together layers until the pressure quakes and I split and sever later. Nothing sets foot or claw on home base. Send the reinforcements. Thanks but no thanks. Whether wind or creature or an ET from a foreign realm, I can't shift my attention, need to see it for myself. What was that? Did you see it? Hands on deck, light the beacons. Give me peace and sleep or give conspiracies their credence. The campers in their bunkers and my swivel head is freaking. My intent is catching every secret in the region. There's something to be said about a manufactured distress. That's why I won't rule out the boogeyman just yet. Goose pimples crawling over top my frigid thin flesh. Should I devise a plan to just accept it as my kismet? Hours inside, minutes have passed, filling with whispers and sinister laughs. Comforted by the dry kindling cracks, the horizon is glowing. This isn't so bad. weaving cattle and rolling down a dirt road. You and me, taking every turn slow, bumping wheelie with the windows down. A little of the red and we sing so loud. We was out where there's gators in the deep end. Thank the Lord we made it to the weekend. This could be a little home I claim, a small town where people know my name. No city lights to dim the 4th of July, getting lit off a half a quart of moonshine. It ain't been long, but all I know is that you could convince me we ain't never going back, because the crickets hang and play like every other night. The bullfrogs gon' croak a muddy lullaby. I could be a cowboy on the countryside if you promise me that you'll be my southern butterfly. Yeah. Do you remember when the future was filled to the brim? For the wattage and the promise had its filaments dim. Well, it's ironic, bright bulb, but all I casted was shade. We could've intertwined glows and had collaborative flames. I'm saying, $2 love story pouring on a woo night had me identifying inner gods in the moonlight. Ooh, I could've played it better like the first chair, instead of waiting till somebody was submerged in the worm's lair.
I'm sorry, but it was only your loaner car. I drove home fucked up from a Winona bar. Something was in the road, Sean said hitting it saves our life. No telling where you're off to when you jerk the wheel in the night. Rap camp still active because you won't ever hear of us. Gonna buy some land solely to plant some asparagus. Heard it in the grapevine as the sugars turn to alcohol. Piss and vinegar, old days of coolies that go last call.
Got a rope and a pulley for the deep down divers, and a keep out sign that'll weed out biters. Unknowns flexing like some renowned writers. We hear we loud in the treehouse cypher. View like a painting and the beats sound fire, with the keep out sign that'll weed out misers. Freestyle lifers watching leaves pile higher. We hear we loud in the treehouse cypher.
Kickles at the vibe and hives at the Bloomin' Brew. Outside of rascals, I might have lost a tooth or two. Joint was the spot till Cuddy let the mic drop. Blake's battle rap about how he's crossed from the bike shop. After bar at an orphanage, post crest to JB's. Weez was writing plays, I was sipping them Tang teas. Witnesses dog ate my cat's fucking feed dish. We all geeked out over Rise of the Phoenix.
Can I kick it? Psh, that question is preposterous. I'm monstrous, stomping like Godzilla with my confidence. This pond is just too little for my dominance to prosper. Had to cross the bridge into Wisconsin just to find some competition. Big fish in a dog dish. Let's be honest, these local kids been looking jaundiced. How ironic. Thoughts in Claud Six was epic and intrepid. In the office, Lake Winona in the Dodge, and Neon Autumn still the squad.
Got a rope and a pulley for the deep down divers, and a keep out sign that'll weed out biters. Unknowns flexing like some renowned writers. We hear we loud in the treehouse cypher. View like a painting and the beats sound fire, with the keep out sign that'll weed out misers. Freestyle lifers watching leaves pile higher. We hear we loud in the treehouse cypher. Don't wait for me, I'll get there when I do, and when I do then we can see. So don't wait for me, I'll be there when I am, and when I am then we can be. So all this freedom got me feeling about as dizzy as a devil. An unexpected occurrence has opened up my schedule, so I went to where the world ends with only my essentials. A pack of matches and a sack of letters I have penciled. Hit my threshold, then I push through like this temple is a rental. The velocity's a rush, but the effects of it are dreadful. There's a candle metaphor to be awarded for the rebels. That might be why I traded thrills for pension, health, and dental. See, I've been changing up like I am Theseus's vessel. Am I the same me when different pieces are assembled? The tempest has been damaging and weakening my mettle, so for now I'll be a short sailor kneeling in the Bethels like, don't wait for me, I'll get there when I do, and when I do then we can see. So don't wait for me, And when I am, then we can be. So don't.
Grief is kind of one of those things like falling in love or having a baby or watching The Wire on HBO where you don't get it until you get it, until you do it. And once you do it, once it's your love or your baby, once it's your grief and your front row at the funeral, you get it. You understand what you're experiencing is not a moment in time. It's not a bone that will reset, but that you've been touched by something chronic, something incurable. It's not fatal, but sometimes grief feels like it could be. And if we can't prevent it in one another, what can we do? What can we do other than try to remind one another that some things can't be fixed and not all wounds are meant to heal? We need each other to remember, to help each other remember that grief is this multitasking emotion, that you can and will be sad and happy, you'll be grieving and able to love in the same year or week, the same breath. We need to remember that a grieving person is going to laugh again and smile again. If they're lucky, they'll even find love again. That yes, absolutely, they're going to move forward. But that doesn't mean that they've moved on. Thank you.
There's a new lagoon on the highway. We always on the go, not no more on this Friday. Traffic lights blinking above a brand new lake. This is what it's like when the bamboo breaks. 1.5 Celsius, no such thing as a free lunch. We all gonna keep up till my backyard is beachfront. The rains are coming, the drains are flooding, the signs are flashing, we ain't changing nothing. I look and see disaster and it's moving through the streets. My cousin sees a beauty and a place to cool his feet. Suppose it's in the eye of the viewer. My crystal ball says we all die in the future, but that's how it was gonna be. So what's really the difference? To counteract it is Sisyphus, to ignore it is blissfulness. To sound alarms is tinnitus. Either way gets imminent, so fight against it upstream or enjoy the hole you're swimming in.
I'm on my family shit though. Like, just because it's easy doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So we're going against the current, trying to make it happen, even if it kills us.
I was fishing at the neighbors with my homie Billy, reeling in the perch like we wrote Free Willy. Silly prepubescent bros with the grand idea, one we wouldn't dare pull on my grandpa's pier. Pulled the perch from the drink, put a hook through its cheek. The flailing of his tail would make it look good to eat. Reach back then, perform to throw your arm out, cast. We were praying for a pike or a largemouth bass. Alas, a couple bites ripped the bait in half. So excited at the prospect, it made us laugh. Just some lads having a blast in this blasted world. Almost snagged us some keepers and a snapping turtle. Took turns catching little guys to prep them for the food chain, till my gramps strolled out and saw our little cruel gang. Blood around the gills, the fish very much alive. He said, I think it's time to take a break and come inside.
Order.
It's easy to be in love by the ocean, because when you're falling, that's where you go. You play double dutch with the rising tide and find forever in the horizon. I've loved others in my stories from the shore, but you're the only one who's had my heart amidst the land of interest rates, broken water heaters, emergency vet visits, and leaks in the attic as well. So we took 4 days away to celebrate a birthday, to feel the tickle in our tummies that happens when you fall, and to turn a straight line on a map into a ball of yarn. You look for birds, I look for water bodies, and it was my turn, so I suggested we take the detour to Lake Earl, because our adventures are all about going where we've never been before. We were standing by empty waters. We were standing by empty waters. Telling stories is a tricky trade, because I'm looking at a map now and Earl seems but a quick skip and jump from 101. But I remember it being so far enough away that I had time to imagine paddleboarders slicing through the surface, all the while the sky shifted from sunny to somber. It's the actual event versus the emotion of it. So sometimes you gotta lie to tell the truth, because the truth lies to you. Ain't no way that cliff we climbed is only 20 feet tall, because while dangling from the rock, my rapid pulse told me it was a mountain. As we danced around the bonfire on the beach, my excitement told me I'd live forever. And that's why in this myth, Lake Earl is off the beaten path and tucked into a corner of the kingdom. We were standing by empty waters. We were standing by empty waters. After meandering past houses that shared our green thumb sensibilities but waved flags of support for a different ruler, we pulled into a parking lot where the only signs of previous visitors were the weathered beer cans scattered throughout the tall grass that apparently once served as a sanctum. I've normally got a rule for hikes and excursions that begin at vacant checkpoints. I don't do them. Contrary to what 23-year-old me believed, I am not a lead explorer braving the uncharted. I'm a follower who needs reassurance that the way is safe, that there will be a return journey. But the water was right there and it was ghostly, and it pulled me to it like an unkept promise that keeps repeating, this time I mean it. So I obliged and followed the beckoning call. What I thought was a task became a challenge, as each step towards the lake was devoured by the mud and muck. As a kid, I figured I'd encounter more quicksand once I grew up, and this was the closest thing to it. I turned to you and asked you to take the photo so I could document this speech in my the places we'd been scrapbook. And you told me I wasn't quite there yet, but another stride seemed like another mile to me. How we long for that and those we cannot reach. In that moment, the wind whisked waves that died just beyond my toes, with the whispers of family and friends who only appear when I find myself in realms where I cannot stay, who only show up long enough for me to remember the last time I remembered them. And so with a lunge and a leap, I sank my feet into the shallowest depths of empty Lake Earl. We were standing by empty waters. We were standing by empty waters.
Causes of cold and symptomatic cold feet are many. And in most cases, cold feet can be common and aren't really an indication of a disease process, but are simply the way that your body has has controlled its temperatures. The most common cause of cold feet is really just
the rogue is flowing, so catch me soaking my cold feet. Keep the exposed knees dry, I don't really go deep. That water cycle spurt a current out of melting snow heap. I fight the urge to dive in, baby, that was the old me. Or maybe this the old me, and that was just the younger Luke. Yeah, time is kind of funny, dude, it throws me as it proceeds. Wild that my wife will never meet my closest homie. Built a home sweet home, but I get lonely when the ghosts leave. Trophies for the whole team, even if we ain't connecting closely. I'm hanging banners for you in the nosebleeds. Been dragging through the mosey, my temple getting no sleep. Somebody's gotta write the opuses and grow the groceries. Pocket full of posies, let's ring around the oak tree that sacrificed itself and turned a limb into a rope swing. Face my fallibility, it shows me something holy. I've counted on that more than I've ever counted rosaries. So long, I'm gone to spend all my time getting lost in the tide. So long, I'm gone to spend all my days getting lost in the waves. Been losing it like Bo Peep, probably from the job stress. The crib has been a hot mess, corners cloaked in cobwebs. That nagging negativity sticks its neck out like the Loch Ness, but I can see it before it comes. I guess I'd call that progress. Great, another water song shit, what a concept. Recycling the narratives, I bet that that's a complex. But what I'm supposed to do, dwell on atomic bomb threats? A spill I told you so's when our consequences onset. Could probably use a prophet, but I don't see no prospects. Indifferent to religion, but I ain't scared to share a God bless. I'll meet you where you want, just tell me where the spot's at. If we all going down, I'm riding with you like a bobsled. The flooding is incoming, that's something I will not stress. Imagine me getting worried about getting my socks wet, barefoot into the liquid. I've disposed of my galoshes, that's all your boy needs, some cold feet for hot heads.
That become colder. The feet are the furthest away from the heart. They're also, because of the distance from the core of the body, have the most susceptibility to losing temperature, and blood doesn't get down there, and so it doesn't heat the foot as often. If measured, the temperature on the toes is the lowest temperature generally of any part of the body.